everyone, this is Gayle and welcome to my live stream tonight. We're going to be joined momentarily by Laurel Stewart. She's Candy the Wee Service Dog. Last week she was unable to be here because Candy the Wee Service Dog got a little bit sick. So she should be here today. And I see that we already have Tanya in the house. So, hey Tanya, it's good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Whoa, I have got something feeding back here. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, when you're on a live stream, what you want to do is pull up the way it looks for you guys, for the audience. But you also need to have a screen going for StreamYard, which is the platform that I'm using to live stream with. But when you do that, you need to turn off the volume on the live stream, because if you don't, the microphone will pick it up and you'll have some feedback and you'll sound all distorted. So if you hear this and if you are ever live streaming, yeah, don't do that. Don't do what I just did. So anyway, we are back and there's Tanya again. So hi Tanya and welcome. Hope everyone's having a good week. I'm still not sure if notifications went out for this stream or not. You never know for sure. That is one thing that I'm finding out about YouTube. So hopefully they went out. I don't see them though. Tanya, did you happen to get a notification from YouTube about this? I see you've got your account too, which is pretty cool. And let's see, Valerie's in the house. So hi, Valerie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have Peter Parker. So awesome. Good to see you all. Let me go in and hit the comments here. Laurel is still getting ready. I've got a note from her. She'll be here in a few minutes. I am doing okay, Tanya. Little frustrated with life. So anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. Let's see. Oh, okay, Peter. Thank you. You do that, and we will definitely put that out on YouTube. We'll have to live stream that one. Okay, Valerie says she got a notification. Peter, did you get a notification? Okay, Tanya says she got one because she put a reminder up and clicked the reminder button. So we know how she did it. She didn't get any other notifications. Okay. Okay. Valerie said she didn't realize what time it is until the notification came in. So that's awesome. Tanya's saying hi to Peter. And Tanya says she knows how that is, that she's sorry I'm frustrated. Thank you. Part of the reason for my frustration is a little health thing that's been going on. You've probably seen some of my videos about the whole breast cancer scare. Well, what's happened is that happened back a few months ago, and I'm just now getting the videos up and processed. Actually, COVID kind of interrupted them, but Mel had been kind enough to help me edit some of the footage, so I didn't want to lose that and disappoint him. But finally, after all of these months, I finally get the go-ahead to have some genetic testing done to see if I carry one of the breast cancer genes, which is going to be great, except that this all started back in the fall, and here we are in April. So I've got to go this week and get some blood drawn. Hopefully we'll get the results here in a couple of weeks. But even with all of this, we're still not sure whether or not the insurance is going to cover it. So I'm working with a company that's got one of those patient assistance programs. So we'll see how this goes. But thank you, Tanya, for asking. That's kind of my frustration. But the big thing is that's making me super happy is knowing that I have a service dog in June. June. And that June is not going to get here fast enough. So let me get back to the chat here. Tanya says she knows how it goes. April Fools. Well, I'm glad you got the notification. That was a good April Fools. Hey, we got P&L Rail Fanner. Hey, how are you? It's good to see you. And let's see, Tanya says, how is getting ready for the service dog? It is going great. Like, I've been so excited. I'm still kind of freaking out about the whole gas thing because when I did the budget, I was planning on reasonable gas prices. Don't know why I did that because we know that gas is going up. So I'm a little concerned about that. But at the same time, other things are falling into place. I'm going to be doing, I can't decide if I'm going to do a video next week or a live stream next week. But some people have sent some money and helped me buy things. One person this week, her name's Amanda Sessions is her last name, I think it is. She sent me a $10 Amazon gift card with a link suggesting that I purchase a specific item. I was able to, somebody here on our live stream, Laurel, helped me out with $10. And I used that immediately because Amazon had this flash sale on this car seat cover for dogs so they don't mess up the interior of your car. And they had the one I wanted on a flash sale for $19.99. So I had to get that. So I'm excited. Speaking of Laurel, here she is. I'm going to go ahead and add Laurel to the screen and even go into the chat.
Hold on just a minute. Candy, come here.
Okay. We'll give her another minute. So anyway, that's how it is. Getting ready for the dog. And so I'm getting excited. And so anyhow, it's a big deal. And let's see. Tanya is saying that insurance is a pain. Yeah, but it's a necessary pain. You know, if I had not had insurance with all of these COVID bills, I would be dying even worse, you know. See, Tony says, I'm doing a Scentsy sale with a Scentsy Rest Preventative as a fundraiser for my service dog. So when you see me put that on Facebook, could you share it, please? Yeah, I don't mind sharing it. Yay, P&L says I'm okay. So that's awesome. And Tony says she's going to get a percentage of every order, which is good. Not want to do so much anymore, so it's time to work on getting a second dog. Yeah, I get that. Because we waited too late with Tomlin, and you know the worst happened, and then here I've been without a service dog, and it's been kind of weird. Like I can't get out and travel much, and it's about to just drive me crazy. But this summer is going to be like making up, I think, for the whole time that we've been home, because I have to go out and see my daughter. There's something going on, and I can't say what yet, but I've got to go out and see her. So I'm going to be coming back from getting the service dog, which in itself is 10 days of doggy boot camp. So I'm going to get to go out and do that, come home, and then less than 2 weeks later, I'm getting ready to go to New Mexico. So that's going to help with some of my travel itch. We're reconfiguring the van, so it'll be even better because we were using it for the mission trips. I had this ginormous cabinet in the van. We don't have that anymore. So we're totally reconfiguring it. So I am so excited about the way everything is like coming together, you know. So yeah, so I'm excited. Let's see. She says, okay, the Cincy sale. It's okay. Tanya's saying hi. Oh, Tanya, I need to give your wrench back to you. Yes, I'm the one that has a self-securing railroad spike. You are, and that is like the coolest thing. I haven't never, my husband is a huge train buff, and I've never seen a self-securing spike like that. So I sent the link to that to my husband. He has been running in circles for the past few days, so I know he hasn't seen it yet, but hopefully he will get to it because it's just one of those really cool things. And y'all, he's also got a replica of the golden spike that they used, you know, to like attach the railroads and stuff, that big ceremony and stuff, the Golden Spike, he's got a replica of that. So pretty cool stuff on his channel. You should check it out. Hey, Lori's in the house. Hey. Oh, Tanya, I see your super sticker. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's going to help so much. I really appreciate it because everything's going to gas. And I appreciate it. No, believe me, we're all mistyping sometimes. It's okay. It's exhausting doing doggy boot camp. Yeah, I can imagine.
All
So
right.
we'll just see how it goes. And here we have Laurel with us.
Finally.
Candytheweeservicedog. So, hey.
Well, we have new neighbors, and so she was barking. I had to settle her down. Well, they just moved in, and so she's got to get used to, new people around in our building. Yes. So, how's everybody doing?
We're doing great.
Okay. Woo. Yeah. What I was going to do, I was going to share first, and then if they have any questions, we'll just let them ask any questions they have. So, are you ready for me to share now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So one of the things is, I just want to encourage women, especially, to be, entrepreneurs, especially now in this day and age where a lot of people are working at home, losing jobs, their health problems, even like, you experience that you have long-term health problems and you might not, get back into the workforce. And so, to use your hobbies, your passions, your interests and just go, what's the worst thing can happen? Well, it doesn't succeed, but at least you can't say you didn't try.
That's true.
So I'm well, I have three different things. I'm a fine artist, meaning, paintings and sculptures and that kind of, I don't do the sculptures, but, it's in all that same realm. And then I'm a fiber artist. That, Valerie should know what that means. It's people that do knitting, crocheting, crewel embroidery, traditional embroidery, cross stitch, needlepoint, macrame, all that is in the fiber arts. And so I do crocheting, and then I've had several people ask, what is loom knitting? It means you get the same effects of knitting, but you're not having to use two needles, because I'm trying to figure out what the camera is. I have nerve damage, so trying to do that, I would just be dropping stitches. So let me get the looms up first. Hold on.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull up she sent me some photos of some of her work. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up.
Let me see where I get the looms at. I had them. Okay, I have everything so laid out that I forgot where I put something. Here they are, right next to me.
Okay. So here's some of the fine art that she was talking about, the paintings that she does.
Yes.
These are showing up, right?
And some of them are still for sale. Other ones have already sold. But most of the, now the coasters are gone. They're all sold. I have to make some more. That one's still for sale. That one is for sale.
They're cute.
Yeah. Now, that one, no, I don't want to sell that one. That meant a lot to me, so I'm not selling that one.
Okay. Well, you put it in the photos. So that's all I know.
Well, I can replicate. I can make a picture like that, and I try not to do copies, so it will be similar to that. It just won't be that exact copy. So here is this. Well, hold on.
Here's the yarn for the fiber arts. Okay, we'll come back to
this. This is a small. Well, it's not the smallest. It's the next to the smallest.
Okay.
Well, I take that back. There's actually two small. There's a blue one that goes in here, a dark blue, and then there's a pink one you make pom-poms with. Then this one is size for probably like kids' scarves, or if you want to make yourself a cowl, or for small hats, well, it depends. A lot of people use this size for hats and adult hats and scarves. You can make table runners with it. It does not have to be everything to be round. There's a little button here, okay? So if you go all the way around, it will be a circular piece of work. But there is a way you can make it flat. So you would go all the way around and then stop to get here, and then you would go back and forth. And then when you take it off, it will be twice this size. So a finished piece of work would be, yeah, about like that, twice that wide. So that's big enough to make probably this one's not two. I mean, a foot and a half. So it would be about 3 feet wide. This is the big one.
That's small enough that I could take it and I could do it in the van.
Right, any of these you can. Even this one you can take. Now this one will make. So this one is 2 feet. It will make something about 4 feet wide. And then if you put a border, it would be 4.5 feet. They do have rectangular looms, and those are flat for people that don't know how to use the round in a flat way. What was I gonna say? So I have made lots of stuff with that. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that to show you because it's either been sold or given as a gift. I'm sorry if I don't have that. But that's what loom. Oh, let me show you the tool that you use. It's a little metal hook, and you just literally loop it over.
Okay. Because one of the reasons why I wanted to do this with you and talk to you is because a lot of people who are out in vans and traveling, we'd like to try to be nomads, but we still need to make money when we're on the road. So selling these crafts and what you can make while you're on the road.
Right. And the thing is, and not to insult anybody, but you don't have to have a talent to do this, because see this, when you wrap the yarn, so you wrap it around in circular motion, and then you go around, then you go around a second time. Now, you take the second loop, there's a little groove right in here, and see that slips it, and you pull it over, and you do that all the way around, then you wrap it again, and you keep doing. So you wrap it, flip it over, wrap, and then it starts getting longer and longer to the desired length. Now you don't have to use every hook. You can create whatever design you want. You can take some out. Well, I have trouble getting some. And so you see how I can take some out. Can you see that?
Ooh, yes.
Okay.
I can see that now.
Okay.
I'm also trying to do comments.
So yeah, so I've taken some out. So then it's gonna have a wider gap. You could do 1 out and then 2 out and then 1 and 2, and then you could create all kinds of different patterns that way. So like I said, you do not have to have knitting. You don't have to have any previous knitting or crocheting skills. And like I said, it's even for people with disabilities. Like I said, I have a lot of nerve damage. I even taught a young lady, she was in her 20s, and her favorite word was can't. And she was doing rehab at the nursing home my husband was at, and I was a volunteer instructor. And so I taught her how to use the loom, and she made herself a table runner. And she was surprised. I said, you know how she's been blind from life, so she knows how to see with her fingers. And she would surprise herself how well her project came out. So she could feel how nice, and you can use various yarns. So that's some people that if they don't know how to knit, or they don't feel like they don't have the confidence to learn, you can do the loom knitting. So you can get that at Hobby Lobby.
I would be willing to try the loom knitting, but like Valerie Reese does some phenomenal work. She's here. She's in the sidebar in the chat room, but I didn't know I could never do that.
Right, so, but you can't.
I might be able to use the loom.
I even have, listen to this, I even had a student, she's actually from the Ukraine. Her parents adopted her when she was 3. No, sorry, she was 2. She's now 22, going on 23. She was in the co-op with us, and I taught her how to do that, and she only had one arm, so there's no excuse.
Okay.
Now, she did have part of her, no, she didn't use that, she just had a little bit, so she can kind of, I guess she kind of used her shoulder like that, and then, but she was able to do it with one hand, so you want to have one good arm. So there's no excuse of not being able to do the loom. You could be, visually
So
impaired.
I'll
You
have
could
to
be
try it.
missing, right? And anybody, yeah. You'll surprise yourself what you can do. The other thing is, I do crochet.
Right.
I was going to show you some of the hooks. Now, I gave some of my tiniest ones away. There's some really micro small ones that, if you think this one is tiny, can you, oh, I keep doing that. Okay, can you see that? You better can see that. Let's put it this way. I'll compare it.
Oh, there you go. I see it now. Let me change the configuration. There we go. You probably see it better now.
Okay, and I keep goofing up where this camera is.
Now I know those come in different sizes, and like I picked up some yarn the other day, and I had to have a 5.5 millimeter. What size is that one?
This is really tiny. In fact, I have to see what this one says.
Oh, I shouldn't have asked.
I see something better without my glasses. It's really tiny, but like I said, if you look at the, well, I am goofing up tonight, Gayle. Okay, so can you see the pin? See the pin head and see that? It's just a little bit bigger.
There we go.
Okay, so it's just a little bit bigger than the end of a pin. Now there are some that are that tiny, and there is a couple that you think of the end of a pin. There's a couple that are smaller than that. Now I gave that to a friend because she knew how to work with those. I used to, but not since my nerve damage has happened. The other thing you can do with the smaller crocheting hook, and I'll have to bring up some website. You'll have to look at my YouTube channel another day. That a lot of times they do tatting with that. I don't know if
my grandmother used to do some beautiful tatting.
Well, you can use those really micro small crocheting hooks. So that's the tiny one. Now here's the one. This is not the biggest. Here's a medium size large. Again. I am so terrible with the camera there.
All good.
I gotta find out where my camera is. Okay, maybe I have to sit back from there. Can you see that?
Scoot over just there we go.
Okay,
I can see it.
Okay, and there's this is a size K. It is about the size. Let me see if I can show my baby finger with it. I'm just gonna. There. Can you see my baby finger?
Yes.
So the head of it is just a little bit smaller than that. It's a pretty large head. This you can do blankets, but that's when you want to do like 2 or 3 yarns at one time.
Okay.
Or you can use that thick yarn to make rugs. Another thing that people do now is they take t-shirts and make t-shirt yarn, and that's what this is good for. Now I have, and again, this next one is not the largest scale, but it's pretty far up there in size. This is a size Q. And by the way, they start at, they just go down to B, because then those smaller ones they're called some other thing. They don't have a leather. The real tiny ones, but this is a size Q, and it is the size of turn my head right. See, it's the size of my finger.
Okay.
So, and there are people that, well, I know that people do finger knitting, but you can do finger crocheting where you use your finger as the crocheting hook. And that's what about the
Now,
size of.
I talked to a woman one time who used a toothbrush and she was trying to make a rug.
Well, this is actually
Yeah.
using your finger. And it's called fingering crocheting. And you can do that with the knitting too. I've seen people do that. But anyway, this is a size Q, and these are not cheap. This one was $8.
Now, the
So,
lady that was doing a rug had one at least that big, if not a little bit
well,
bigger.
that's it. This is not the biggest. This is only a Q. Remember, it goes all the way to Z. So what is
Okay.
this? So there's still a few sizes bigger than this. So yeah, and they got longer ones. They even got ones now with those grips, so you can. And that's what I need to get the sort of like this. Got that rubber gasket kind of material where you can grip onto that. They make
Okay.
them with the
So
crocheting
it's
hook
more
stuff.
contoured then.
Well, and no, it's got the rubber grips on it,
Right.
so
But
your hand's
contoured
not
for
going
your
to
hand.
slide.
But
These
these
are
are
plastic. The other ones are metal. So yeah, so those are the different hooks, and then there's so many types of yarn. There's so many different blends, and there's so many different cotton blends, and so when you're first starting out, it's best to do acrylic because it's easier for people that have never knit or crochet. Cotton yarn is for your intermediate person, like they've been sewing, crocheting for or knitting for a couple of years, because cotton doesn't have that elasticity like the acrylic. So you gotta make sure that you keep that yarn the tension pretty well on it. And then the one that I did with my granddaughter on her dress, and it was called Kaboo. You can find that even at Myers. And that yarn is,
she did some crochet work to make her granddaughter a
yeah,
dress. So it was
yes,
like
it
this
was a
flowering, which
combination
was
of
cute.
the dress with, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know why I put the Kaboo yarn. Anyways, that yarn is harder to work with because it's a combination of um, cotton and bamboo, and that's why it's called Kaboo. And so,
Okay.
you know, when they say, well, and you know, when you get yarn, you see how it's twisted, kind of, it's not braided, but it's twisted. Most yarns, well, Kaboo is not, it's loose. There's 3 to 5 strands, and they're not together. So you have to hold that yarn really tight, or you can end up going in between some of the threads, and some of the threads will get hung up, and then you end up getting a knot, or you mess up your work. So
Gotcha.
that's for advanced or experienced people. But it's got a much softer feel to it. And cotton, especially with babies, it's hypoallergenic, and
Okay.
it's so much. It doesn't have the itch. Yeah, and it doesn't get the piling like the acrylics or some of the other yarn. There's ones that have they have the cotton and wool blend. They have the bamboo and wool blend. They have some have three different fabrics. And I don't know if I was talking to you or somebody else about. Oh, I think it was you. Remember I was talking about the lady we seen at the fair. She was making she was spinning yarn on a spin, and this big animal was laying on her lap. I didn't know what it was. It was an Angora rabbit, and all she
Yeah,
was
you were telling me about the rabbit.
she just gently was pulling the hair off of the. I mean, it would just come out. It was almost like if you pet it, it would come off. And she was combining that with some she was doing with wool, some she was doing with cotton. But yeah, you can use all kinds
And
of,
as you talk about this, I'm actually showing the picture that you sent me with the different types of yarns on it. And
oh
you can tell
yes,
from the picture that some are a little bit thicker than others.
yes. And
So,
then you
so
got,
that
and
I
then
am going to let me acknowledge a couple of people here that just came.
yes, yes.
Um, so let me. Tanya, unfortunately, was not feeling well, so she had to
Oh,
leave.
okay.
So she's
Yeah,
gone.
I hope she feels. Yeah, I hope she feels better.
And Peter has made a suggestion about something that could alpha lipoic acid. 200 milligrams might help with the nerve damage. But we also want to say hi to Adventures and Bass Fishing with TK Heaven. So, welcome tonight. Glad you could join us. Glad you could be here.
Yeah.
And let me come back down here. Iron Fire Horse is in the house.
Oh
She's come
yeah.
by.
Oh yes.
So, yeah.
Hi
So,
everybody.
yeah.
Appreciate you being on. Yeah.
And let's see, Valerie says she wants to get on her pontoon by May 1. So she'll be out doing some fishing and enjoying some sunshine. So we'll have some videos like that coming up from
Oh
her.
yes.
Oh, I hate
Yes.
that Steve. She says Steve, her husband, had arm surgery. And I hate that. I
Yeah.
I miss that. So I hope he gets to feeling better.
Yes.
So I
But
tell you what, Tanya, I'm going to actually step off camera here for just a second because I have a disaster to show you, and maybe you could talk to me about it. So that it's a crochet disaster, and maybe you could talk about it and give some encouragement to somebody who may want to crochet but not know exactly how to do it well, like me and some others who may be listening. So
yeah.
I'm going to go get that, and I'll be right back. But you
Okay.
can keep explaining.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
the one this is an ombre yarn where it gradually changes color. So if you can see all the different colors, and then there's multicolor, which is different. The color changes quicker, and it has a lot distinct. You can see the distinct coloring. Let me give a sample of what the multi. I got a sample of it. When you crochet with the multi um, colors, it see how the colors are really distinct. Where with the ombre, it's more subtle color changes. It's where you want to have a hint of different shades without making it a total different color. And I do have some hats. Where do I get my hats? Hold on. I gotta grab my hats.
Hi, everybody. I'm back.
Okay, hold on. I'm grabbing my hats that I made. I was showing the difference between the multicolored yarn and the ombre yarn. The ombre is very subtle changing. I'll let you see it, yeah. So this is the ombre, where it just
Okay.
changes real gradually. And this is the multi-color where it changes. I'm gonna have to put some light on. No, that's too
Pretty.
bright.
Let me
Let me-
adjust our configuration here. That might
Okay.
help.
Okay, so see how that
That's
is
like a rainbow, isn't it?
yeah, well, I mean you can get different ones. And then this is again, I said this is the ombre yarn.
Okay.
And this is what the your work is gonna look like. Well, see for the multicolored. Where the ombre, just a second.
Those are some gorgeous colors.
Ombre is gonna be, see how you can see different colors, but they're very subtle. With the multicolored, you're gonna see like I said, you're gonna see that distinct difference. But they got different ones.
Okay.
And in fact, I've got several friends that either they're having a baby or they're having a daughter, granddaughter, niece, having babies. It seems like everybody's having babies between April and October. So I have to
I
be
hear
making
you.
a lot of baby stuff. Yes.
It's baby season.
So this is a hat I made. I actually made it for a gentleman. Now he wasn't Jewish, and he wasn't what's the other religion that they wear these hats? Okay, I made it
Yeah,
for
I don't
him,
know. I should
and
know, but
well, I gave him a couple, and then unfortunately passed away, so I
oh
kept that for myself. But those are more snug fitting, and they're smaller, so you can.
yeah.
Oh, I'm out of frame again.
We
So yeah, so yeah, and then on this is actually it just got a little bit of a curve to it. See that? And I actually put um the dish that catches the water for your plants.
okay
That's what this is to put underneath. So
to
you
help
have
protect
yeah,
protect.
well, it protects your challenge from getting screwed, but it also gives a little bit of color, and it goes whatever your color scheme is in your home. Uh, so those are things I do. I do fingerless gloves. Um, I make shawls. Yeah, that's what I got to work on. Some unfortunately, I've had friends have a loved one pass away, not just of COVID, but because they were older or they had other underlying health conditions. So I'm making prayer shawls. Now, a prayer
Okay,
shawl is not, they call them prayer shawls, but they really can be anywhere from
good
like
night, Peter.
like a lap blanket to really just like the prayer shawl that I got from the hospital when my husband passed away. It was these. It's 4 feet, no, 3.5 feet long and 2 feet wide. And
Wow, that's a really big size.
and it's
Some
just
of them.
well, I use it on where I have his urn at. I have that, and it has a little card on it, and it says the person that was knitting or crocheting this was praying for you while they were making it. They didn't know,
That's cool.
they didn't know who was going to receive it, but I thought that was really nice, and that was given to it was several different churches, but they donated it to this hospital. And so whenever someone had a loved one pass away, they gave them these prayer shawls, which was really super nice. So you can do prayer shawls. You
Some
can I
places
make
are doing mini prayer shawls, and they're just about as like well, the ones I've seen have been like about 5 by 5, just really
oh okay
small, and they're
okay
more the symbols. So you can like just take them and put them in your purse.
right yeah no yeah. These are actually and some people want the bigger ones, the ones that's like the size of a lap blanket. So it's whatever the preference of the person that has lost that loved one. Then they can specify what kind of size they want. But yeah, that's thing. A lot of hospitals, even during COVID, are willing to take those because they have volunteers that walk them and get them ready to give to people.
And that's
So
really, really nice.
so even throughout COVID, they never stopped. That's another thing. Baby hats, especially the preemie hats. Oh, I've got to find those. Maybe you can talk just a minute. I got to see where I've got my. They're itty bitty tiny
Okay.
hats. Wait, I got so much spread out that I don't.
And I'm
Oh,
getting back to the chat here for a second
yes. Catch up on the
while you do
chat.
that.
Yes. Oh man.
Valerie does some cute Tuesday tags. They're commenting on that with adventures in bass fishing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen them. Those are fun. And Valerie, you didn't get to see on the screen, but Laurel, if you can hear me, Valerie's been doing some things, and they're going to the Ukraine, so
Yes.
that'll be
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
That'll be very, very cool. So lots of good things there.
Yeah.
There's bad going on in the world, but there's also good, like
Yes. Oh
the
yeah.
hats, the knitting, things like that.
Right.
And I do want to remind everybody, please don't forget to give the video a like. Those big thumbs up really help.
Okay.
So
Oh, here is the kaboo yarn. Now that's the combination of the cotton and the bamboo. Now I'm
wow, those are some pretty colors. What's the
okay.
texture like?
Oh, it's super soft. But what I'm saying, it's loose woven. I'm trying to show you. Okay. Well, see how it's got the little tiny threads. Can you see? See how the
Yes.
thread? See how there's like 6 or 7 of those threads. So if you're if you're like a novice knitter or crocheter, you can mess up your thread. It can get caught and snagged, and then it starts fraying, and then you have just a hot mess. So that's why you have to be
Yeah.
experienced, because otherwise it's gonna fray really bad on you. But that's what this.
Speaking of hot messes,
But
let
it's
me
real.
let me
Okay.
ask you about my hot messes here.
Okay.
Um, just to clarify, I'm going to change this again, but just to clarify, I decided to try to pick up a craft I could do on the road.
Uh-huh.
I still do the
Right.
jewelry making, but it's kind of hard to like take all the stuff with me for jewelry making. So I thought, why not
Yes.
try crochet again? I've not crocheted since I was like knee high to a grasshopper. So bear with me here. So I have got a couple of granny squares that
Okay.
are a little disastrous. I really don't know what I did. Now, Valerie, please don't laugh at me.
I'm
Laura,
gonna say,
please don't laugh
and
at me.
I'm gonna try not to laugh, but I can't promise it.
Okay. This is my square granny square.
Okay, hold it up, so like that.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what the best way is here.
It
But for
doesn't
some,
look that bad. It looks like
it's
you did it just too tight.
okay.
Your, your
Whoops.
tension, the tension on your hand when you're doing the yarn, you just had the tension too tight.
Because it's actually, you can't really see, I'm sorry, but it's actually curved up on one
Well,
side.
that has to do with the tension of how tight you're holding the yarn. It will do that.
You'll do that because it would make a
Yeah.
good scoop. Except
Now
it's
this,
so on, and I have this other granny
oh
square.
yes, but you
You
know
can,
what?
you
You
can
know what?
tell this is not a square.
If you make 3 or 4 more of those, you can make it look like a flower and stack them together, and then
Oh,
you can
can I? Is that a good?
yeah.
But I
Then
don't
you can
know.
say
Like,
you did it on purpose.
like
But
I
now
don't know
this,
how I did this.
okay, so this is a bag I'm working on. It's going to be
Okay.
a shopping bag. This is super easy because your basic crocheting, you have to have a chain. And all this is made with chain stitch.
Thank you, adventures, for coming in.
Oh,
That's just
yes,
a chain
thank you.
stitch.
I appreciate you coming in. But anyways, this is just done with the chain stitch, which is your basic, what you start from.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you can make bags. What else can you make with that? Oh, you can make hammocks like for if you have a little granddaughter or child or whatever, to put their a hammock for the stuffed animals. Yes, so you can make a hammock for the dolls for that. So yeah, and I think oh yeah, so there's that. Oh, I got the baby hats.
Baby
Now
hat.
these are
This could almost
super.
be a baby hat if I turned it.
Okay, well, I had a friend. She ended up with the severe version of what do you call it when they have high blood pressure when they're pregnant? What is it called?
Toxemia.
Yeah, but she had the there's different levels. She had the more severe level. Her baby almost died within hours of being born. She almost died herself. Now the baby is he is uh he's 6 or 7 months old, but um with the actual chronological, like the time they go from the time they was actually supposed to be born, then he's really 4 months chronologically. If you go when he was supposed to go, when he's
So
supposed to
he's a
be
little
born.
early there.
Well, and a month early because he's 7. He's like 7.5 months. So yeah, he was.
Preeclampsia is what Iron Firehorse is saying.
Yes, but hers was called another. It was clampsia, but it's called some other level of clampsia. But it is preeclampsia, but it's a much higher and more rare because she has a lot of rare medical. But the one that she has was much more rare. But anyways, yeah. So she received from her hospital these itty bitty tiny hats.
Aw, that's
Okay,
cute.
so look at the palm of my hand. See how tiny that is?
Yeah.
Let's put it in perspective. Even this head is a little bit big. Okay, so yeah, you imagine it's like a little dolly hat. I had a friend make those for me when we were donating to the hospital for. Here's another one she made. She's since moved to Maryland. I don't know why she went. Oh, she got family there, but that's a rough city to live in. Yeah.
It is. Any large city.
Well, she's not that far from Washington D.C., so she.
Yeah.
But
And Washington's not a bad town. You just have to really watch. Like you can be in a really, really good area, and then 2 blocks over, it's awful.
Well, and the thing is, her house is I believe it's either $200,000 or $250,000 home, but they can hear gunfire at night.
Yeah. See,
so
a $250,000 home can be a wonderful home some places, but when you're in the city, that's almost a starter home.
Right. Yes. Oh, I know the California. Yeah. Really, a $250,000 home in California can be near slum. I mean, the building itself is considered a slum level home. Like, I mean, you have to have major repairs on it and stuff. So, yeah, it just depends where you live. But that's
Valerie is expressing some sympathy for my crochet work. She says she doesn't crochet much. If she did, she would help me out. But thanks, Valerie. I'm thinking about. I did try knitting once, and that didn't work. Didn't work better. Didn't work well, but it might have worked better than my granny square.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep trying.
Here's another piece of my work. Now this is.
This is fabric art.
This is crewel embroidery.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I haven't seen crewel done in a long time.
Right, and once I get this done, I will soak it in warm water and stretch it.
Okay.
So that's actually a beaver.
So what does it do when you soak it in warm water and stretch it?
The fabric will stretch, and then I can mount it on a frame. But that is a beaver dam, and then that's the water. But I got different colors, and so it looks like movement in the water. So that's my crewel.
Oh, I see the colors. Okay.
Yeah, can you see them?
Yeah.
Okay, and so when
it's like 3 or 4 different colors there.
Right, and the other thing nice about crewel embroidery, and again, I'm not that. I remember I told you about the jean purses I made.
Right.
I got to get this finished for a friend. She's probably gonna get ready to move to another part of the city. But they're just old jeans. And then you see what you do. Here's a pair of jeans I have not cut. I cut the legs off, but I haven't cut them open.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
those are cute. I used to make denim purses like that out of jeans, believe it or not.
You have to cut strips up to the crotch level, okay? And then that's when you, I think these are 1/2 inch strips. and then you tie them together. You know those blankets that you can tie, you know, those fleece blankets, and you just tie them, and then you say you made it because
You're still doing something to it. Yeah.
right. Well, that's basically the same concept. But I have friends that like to put a whole 5-pound bag of apples or whatever. So it's a no stitch project. But if you want the whole that way, you can just whip stitch, and that's just any kind of loop, you know, stitches like that, and that gives it just a little more reinforcement on the inside. Now on the outside, I haven't done that, but on the back pockets, I am going to do the crewel embroidery, and on the front, I am going to paint a border all the way around to her. She loves cats.
Oh, that'll be cute with a border painted.
So those are things that you don't have to have any sewing skills, but you know, you just, like I said, you can paint or whatever, you do that kind of stuff. So that's another fiber art project. Let's see. I don't want to bang for candy in the head. Oh, what I got here? When we were talking about the yarns, and I was talking about the different, this is, what do you call it? This is the ombre yarns here. Like I said, they come in so many varieties. Okay, here's a couple of them. Well, actually, this is multicolored. This one's a multicolored one. Okay.
Okay.
This one is the.
Too, while you're coming up with that, the purses that I used to make out of jeans, I used to run a ministry center, and people donated all kinds of things to us. And I'm saying this because somebody listening may want to get this idea.
Right.
But a lot of stores, thrift shops will have sales where it's a certain price for whatever you could stuff in a bag. Now with us, people would donate things, and we would try to make different things out of them to teach the kids a skill and also make money for the program. And the kids really liked making the denim purses. But we would make some of our we would line them, and sometimes we would get pillowcases in that we could line the inside of the purse with, and we just simply went through, and we had a serger, so we just simply went through and serged the bottom of it and then tacked in the lining in the purse. Of course, we had to make the straps, but I wish I thought about painting them because that's really cute.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, you can get yarn from thrift stores, but you got to be careful because yarn, if it's just sitting, can dry rot.
Now, it can. I did not know that.
Well, think about dust mites, okay? If some
I don't want to think about dust mites.
Well, but the yarn is sitting, the dust mites get in there. If you crochet a blanket, it can last 50, 60 years because you're, washing it on a regular basis. But if it's just sitting around, after a year, you need to pitch it, because if you make somebody a blanket or a shawl, it's going to fall apart the first washing because, like I said, it's dry rotting. And once you wash literally the dust mites are holding it together.
Oh, so, no. Don't tell me that.
I wouldn't really get yarn from a thrift store. I mean, Dollar Tree, you get skeins and skeins of it. But yes, I'm trying to see if I can find another ombre yarn. Now this one, this is an ombre, but it's almost like a cross between an ombre yarn and a multicolored, because you can see the colors, but they're very subtle changes.
Oh, they are pretty. I see the variegated.
But now here's another multicolored one. See, the multicolored, you're always going to see a big difference, between the light and dark. Here's another one that's, like I said, it's a cross between an ombre and a multicolor, because see, all the colors are in that same hue. And so when you do it, you're going to get very subtle changes depending on what stitch
That's
you do.
cute.
Now this, I told you about the waffle stitch. This is one where when you do that, you can see the, unfortunately I didn't get one made, I'm sorry, with
That's
Candy
okay.
being sick. But anyways, it gives that depth to that waffle stitch, a much deeper look to it, yes. And then
That's pretty though. I think I like
yeah,
the variegated colors.
right. This one's 100% cotton. I did get one that had some
So is
uh
cotton hard to work with?
cotton. No, it's the
Okay.
kaboo.
The
That's the
caboose is
cotton and the
hard.
bamboo. Bamboo's hard work to work with
Okay.
because, like I said, they don't when they spin. Like I said, if you've seen embroidery thread, how you can pull it apart. See, whoops, I'm
Yeah. It's good.
so see
There
see
we go.
that it just comes apart
Oh
now,
wow. Yeah,
and
that
so
does.
and it's so super soft. You, like I said, if you're trying to crochet and you get hooked on one of those threads, you're gonna damage your project. And then on normal yarn, if you make a mistake, you can pull it out and start over. This gets stuck like that. You can't pull it out because like I said, it gets entangled. It's locked in when you just have to sort of
So
cut
I
that part
thought
off.
about taking this one and um, starting over by pulling
No,
it
don't
all
do
out.
that.
Uh,
It's
don't do
harder
that.
to start over once you tie the knot up. No, make four more with the same mistake. Because, like I said, if you
Okay.
stack them, and then one day we could go on your messenger, and I will show you how you stitch it in the middle, and then you get what's that the florist tape, and you get
Okay.
like uh those plastic, you know what they put the little plastic balloons, the little miniature balloons, those sticks.
Oh, those balloon sticks. Gotcha.
Yes, and so you can make that a flower, and then that way you can say you did it on purpose. And what you do with that middle, once those
So
four, so once those four have been sewed together, okay, so you got them stacked,
what
and you
if
stick, you're gonna make a center with them. That's what I said. I'll have to show you on Messenger one day.
okay. But what if I'm not sure what I did to get this shape. What if I can't make this shape again?
Well, but
I mean, is that gonna
no, just who cares if they don't match? People use all. Sometimes they like on the one blanket I'm making. It's gonna have the waffle stitch on some squares. It's gonna have the popcorn stitch on another. It's
okay?
so it's
I see.
gonna have various ones. So you can have 3 or 4 different ones. They don't have to match. That's the whole idea. Because you're making like a little flower, and then when you attach it in the middle, you're gonna make like a knot, and that's gonna be like the center of the flower. And then when you
Okay.
stick on that stick and wrap it with that florist tape, it's gonna really look cute. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. But we can do that on Messenger sometime. I did want
I
to
was
show
just trying
you.
to give some hope in case somebody started
Yeah,
and they had something that looked
don't
like
get rid
this,
of them.
so that this is salvageable. That's cool.
Yeah.
Iron
But,
Fire Horse is going to have to run. So, Irene,
oh,
thanks
thank
for coming in. You have a
yeah.
wonderful weekend. Okay.
Yes, yes. And then
Okay.
here is a painting. Oops,
Okay. That's upside down.
I didn't
Okay.
pay attention. Look, and I'm holding it all cockeyed. There you go.
Okay.
That's for sale.
Okay.
What else do I got sale? Oh yeah, yeah, that the one with the giraffe, the Serengeti one. Yes,
That's
this
cute.
one is for sale. Well, um, not yeah, this one's for sale. beach one, I would make one similar. This one is for sale. The one that has the beach and it has real bamboo. This one I'm not getting rid of. This was my husband wanted this made, and so I'm gonna keep this.
Yeah.
But I can make one that's similar. I don't make exact same copy, so I like to think you get a one of a kind. So it'll be similar to that.
Well, that's something about creating things by hand. It's like no two are exactly alike. Like with jewelry, I've tried and tried and tried, and unless it's a really simple piece where I've like purchased a charm and I'm just putting it on the earring back, it never turns out the same.
Well, I think true artists, they don't want to go to one of those shops where they can just mass, like 1 year I did do it as I was in art something one. They took some of my paintings, right?
Right.
And so they had the machinery to make small buttons, and so that was mass produced. So this picture was this, and one of my waterfalls was mass produced on little buttons. It cost them maybe 30 cents to make them because they have a machine that does grid pictures. So they had probably on here they could put 100 pictures. Okay.
Okay.
And then they had the machine that puts a little plastic covering over the button. They made 1 inch, 2 inch, and 4 inch pictures, and then pins, and they sold those. So yeah, but I don't like to do mass printing like that. Yeah, like I wouldn't sell my paintings to like like a card store where they want
card company.
Yeah, where they mass produce it. No. Okay, now this is made out of oh my God, make sure I don't have it upside down. Okay, this is the way it goes. So this is made out of scrap materials. Now this is for like $15.
That's pretty.
This is made. This is recyclable. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And can you see the grooves in it?
Yeah. How did you do the grooves?
It looks like bark, doesn't it? Well, first of all, what's it made out of?
I can't guess.
Just styrofoam. Like the hard type of styrofoam.
That's styrofoam? Wow.
Well, but believe it or not, there's 20 layers. So I put a base coat. It's sort of like hodgepodge, but it's the professional, like industrial strength kind of, and it bonds to anything. So normally paint doesn't stick to styrofoam, but with this special hodgepodge, first you do a base coat in white, and then I can't give you my trade secret, but it has literally 20 different colors, Gayle. 20 different colors. Cute. And so you start out with the white, and then go into the like hues, like the yellows, and then you gradually go into oranges and browns, and then grays, and then black. And so that's the black is only used in the grooves. And what you do is you put it over the whole thing, and then you let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then you take of all things, a damp dryer sheet, and you wipe off the excess, and so it only sticks. So that's how you got the different marbling effect in the grooves.
Now, did you go in and have to carve in each of those grooves?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I hand dug all those.
That's what I did. Wow.
After I did the 20 coats of paint, and then these are just those templates you can get at Myers or Walmart, and then I did the designing of them. I mean, they were just a piece of wood. So I used like 3 or 4 different colors, and then your beads for the eyes.
Those are
your little tiny beads, yeah. So and then I put fabric on the back to preserve it. Then I have smaller paintings. This is like $10. I got 15 and stuff. I'm going to send some to you on your messenger, and certain ones that I'm going to send to you, those are to help raise money for your trip for your service dogs. You know, like you said, the cost of eating. But you know, are you going to stay the whole time in your camper, or are you going to stay part time in a hotel, or what's your
No,
goal?
we are right now. What we're planning to do, if everything goes well, is to spend all the nights in the camper.
Mhm.
We're planning 2 nights up, and then the 10 nights there, and then we're planning on 3 back because we don't know how the service dog's going to travel.
Right,
Hopefully, the dog will travel well, but we don't know. Um,
right.
the 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 thing is, I'm trying to budget for 2 hotel rooms. Hopefully, we won't need them. But like I have traveled before, and then the weather turned into tornadoes, and we're going to Kansas in the middle of summer. So
Oh
I
yeah,
always want to, just in case,
yeah,
budget that.
Tornado Alley. You'll be in Tornado Alley, yes.
I don't know if we're in. I haven't looked at a tornado alley map for out west in years. I've stared at Dixie Alley. I can tell you Dixie Alley,
Well, but
but
Kansas
not
is.
there.
Parts of Kansas is, depending what part, but I mean, that's what was the
Okay.
authentic part about the Wizard of Oz, why it took place in Kansas, because it really had, they're known for tornadoes in that area. So yeah,
Well,
but like
we,
the other thing was
we
about
tried
the
to accrue
dog.
out for that just in
Um,
case.
well, and then I was gonna I'm going to make you a blanket for him to lay on.
Thank you. No, you don't have
Yes.
to. You do not have to.
No, I
We
know that. This is
appreciate if
just
you just want to, but if you
it's
don't feel
just
like you have to. Thank
it's just a love gift, but
you.
I'm going to make it big because he's going to get big. Because how much
Yeah,
does the dog have to weigh to be you know um a
to be a
mobility
service
dog?
dog for me for
The
mobility.
mobility, yes.
I really see. I won't know what size dog I'm getting until they give me the dog.
Okay.
Um, if
Well,
it's a Bernese Mountain Dogs can go up to like 130 pounds,
yeah. Well, I
and
meant,
in the
but
running is a Bernedoodle. So
yeah. Well, I meant the standard, at least by the vet, because I have a couple of friends that are vets, and they've taken care of service animals. They need to be at least a third of your body weight.
right, it has to be the dog. I think is. They said prepare for around 80 pounds or
Right, that would
up,
make sense, yes.
but I don't know how far up beyond the 80 pounds
And
that we're
here's the
going.
other thing. Here is a very important thing you must ask them. You need to ask them what age do
Thank you.
they spay or neuter the dogs? Because you can ask several vets, and they will tell you that if they get spayed too young and they're a mobility dog, you're stunting their growth plate. Now, you know, in a human, if like a child damages the growth plate on their knees, that knee will never grow. So that if that one leg gets, the growth plate gets permanently damaged, they're going to end up with a leg shorter than, the other. Then depending on what age, like if age 8, you're talking, you can have a big difference.
Yeah, you
But yeah,
can.
so with the dog, it has to do with they won't have a short leg. What happens is their hips will not be able to bear the weight, especially if you're using it for bracing.
Yeah.
Their back and their hips won't be able to handle that, or they will, but they won't be able to do it for very long. Like after 2 or 3 years, their back and hips are gonna literally break down. So I would strongly check, and I don't know what their rules are, but they really shouldn't. The vets say the optimum time to do it is 15 to 18 months, but at least a year old. Not any. service dog being spayed or neutered that's a like a mobility shouldn't really be spayed under a year because just
Okay.
because of that factor. But I would
I'll
check.
ask. They have placed, I think, over 130, 150 service dogs. So I'm going to trust they know what they're doing, but I will ask about that.
Well, yeah, and not to discourage you, but the people that provided, President Bush's service dog. Now
Uh-huh.
they were great, but they had more than one region, and in some of their location, that company that provided Bush with his service dog, those people knew what they were doing. But in some of the other states, I think Missouri was one of them. Um, they didn't do a good job, and they actually were told not to um, provide service dogs in Missouri because they
Oh,
felt
wow.
that they weren't up to the standard. Because the company that provided the dogs were mainly into training um, protection dogs, like police, military, bomb sniff, and so they didn't go into all that the physics of the animal. They were more into the mental ability that that animal can handle all the stress. Um,
They apparently, I'm just glancing at this, and
yeah,
they have done some canine work, but it looks like most of it is um, disability related. So
okay,
most of it's
okay.
service dog.
And you said
But
you
I'll
talked
still
to
ask.
you said you talked to people
Yeah.
that ask anybody that can you talk to somebody that has a mobility dog from them? Yeah.
Tanya.
Well, I
Tanya and a
know,
couple of others.
but she hasn't had it long term, so you don't know um, what the long term effects of using them for
But it,
bracing, yeah, or forward momentum and all that, yeah.
well, I will
Oh,
definitely ask. I'll be talking to them again.
before we
So,
leave, here's Candy's cup.
ah,
Is there anybody still on there?
yes, we still have a couple of people.
Okay, well, this is Candy's cup,
That's so cute.
and it
I
is,
love the graphic.
yeah.
Now
Oh
I
my,
have your store linked down in the
yes.
description
Well, and
box.
my friend is a graphic artist. She did fabulous work. Can you see the detail of Candy's face
Yes.
and her whole body? Now, don't laugh. Let me turn on the back. There is the back of her body.
There
All
is
she did,
Chrissy.
well, I mean, you see the
That's so
front of
cute.
it, but there was no photo of her back. She only had the front photo. I took
Oh,
it. So she
so she did
had
the back
to
herself.
figure that out. Okay, so and that's on. Okay, who's still on?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just see we've got a couple of
Okay, well,
folks still on here.
I'm gonna take off my apron, and we never did get to the painting, but we can do that in the future.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you Candy's. Well, I keep thinking there's a T-shirt with Candy on it, so I gotta get back so you
Yeah,
can.
let's see the t-shirt. Valerie says she's still here.
Okay, can you see the T-shirt, Valerie?
Ah, that's
This is
cute.
purple.
Let me change the configuration. There
Oh,
we go.
that's too bright. But yeah, this is the T-shirt. Okay, and again, you see the front of her with that detail. Now let me turn around so you can see the back. Can you see the back? And that's on all the merchandise. Not the fanny pack.
Valerie
Um,
says it's cute too.
were you able to do the fanny pack cropping the picture of my friend with the fanny pack on or no?
No, I wasn't.
I'm gonna have her crop it and send me another picture because she's wearing. She says she loves it. It works perfect. But we got fancy. We even have beach towels, plush blankets, the shopping bags. So yeah,
And
yeah,
all of
you can
that is in
send
your store link, which is below for the
right,
merch shop.
and that's gonna help with my quality of life. So I can. Oh, my allergies have been horrible.
Oh, I'm telling you, all these weather changes aren't good either.
Yes. Well, that's what's doing it. But that will help. Like for instance, I don't usually share my financial stuff, but Sunday I spent $365. Well, my daughter-in-law paid $125. I paid
You've
him,
got
but
a
when you
really
got
great
emergencies to
daughter-in-law.
come up like that, um, her dental work back in the fall, I thought it was going to be up to 1,000 because they thought she was going to have several teeth. I was so thankful for all the prayers. She didn't have to have any teeth pulled. She didn't have any gum disease, so no antibiotics. And when they cleaned it up, they used a scaling tool. It basically looked like a miniature razor blade, and they scraped all that off. That's why they have to be under sedation. And she said it just came off really easy, like she barely touched that tartar and plaque, and it came right on off.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so
Good.
they literally took her back. Well, first they gave her the free medicine to get her relaxed for the surgery, and then so that was at 8:40. They took her back, and they brought her back. Well, then they came back out at 9 and said as soon as she's wake up enough, I could take her home because they didn't want me to have to come back in 6 or 8.
Sure.
Normally they would do that, but since she didn't have to have anything but the cleaning, as long as she was awake, that then she would let go. So like I said, 8:40 they did it. 9 o'clock they were finished. 10 after 9 they brought her to me. Now they said she was awake, but because of the muscle relaxant, that was the only thing that gave me a little bit of a flashback of when I had to put my other chihuahua to sleep. She didn't blink, and you could barely see her chest moving. I'm going, oh, Candy, do something to show me. And she couldn't blink, but she stared at me really hard. So I knew she was acknowledging me without, but she couldn't. I mean, she couldn't even move her body. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't move because she was still under
Yeah,
anesthesia.
so that muscle relaxation basically paralyzes everything, the eyelids and all that. But it just reminded me of when we had Cinnamon put to sleep. That's exactly how she looked,
That had to
before
be nerve wracking for
so
you.
on the way home, it took about 15 minutes on the access van. She jumped up and was wagging her tail like, what are you worried about, Mom? I guess she didn't even remember any of that. I don't think you wanted to remember that, having somebody scrape their teeth.
Sure.
But I'm sure that only cost $325. And here I was worried about it was gonna be $700-800. So I was so thankful. And even the vet said for a dog 9 years old, and she eats homemade food, like I told you, she has to because she doesn't drink enough water. She's been that like all her life. So all of that, basically her food is semi-moist all the time. So there's nothing to scrape her teeth when she's eating.
Gotcha.
And she doesn't like her teeth brushed. So they were so, oh yeah, they do the x-rays too. Because sometimes they have the bone decay, even healthy dogs, the jaw can decay. No decaying of the jaw bones, no infection, no receding gums or nothing. If they said if they didn't know the age of her, they would estimate that she was like 3 or 4 years old. But
Wow.
they knew she was older because she had the great face, and they knew her for years. And they said, "Yeah, well, you're trying to have a second childhood, Candy." That's what the vet says. So that saved me a ton. But that could have been $1,000 right there, and that was a week after
God,
Thanksgiving. So
God
that's
worked
what
that
I'm
out
saying.
for you.
So that's what I'm saying. Anybody that supports me on the teespring will be helping Candy and I, not just for myself. So, and then if you're interested and willing to do this, I would like to do, come on again, when you come home with the dog, and I have more artwork and a lot of more fiber art. And what I would like to do is anybody that buys something on there, I'm going to give them a 10% discount. And then that 10% that they save, I will donate that to you. So I wanted to do that to help with the cost, because normally I wouldn't do that, but I mean, that is a necessary piece of equipment. And you know yourself that you need it. I mean, I think like you said, you learned how much you needed a dog when you no longer had Tomlin.
It's been, and oh my gosh, when I had the crud that was going around and was on oxygen for 8 weeks,
right,
I really learned. So yeah.
I mean, you learned.
But thank you.
Right, but you learned even with your trip to Alaska that how you missed him being there to help you. Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it too is that a service dog, when you're sick, as you know, or when you have, not just when you're sick, but when you have just disabilities you have to work with, which is what a service dog is for. Knowing that there's a service dog there gives comfort, not just for you, but for your family.
Right.
So
yes.
When I drove to Alaska and it was just me and the dog, John, my husband, didn't worry about me so much.
Right.
But then I come home and I drive all the way to Kentucky, which is only like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, compared to Alaska, Kentucky's around the corner,
Right.
But my husband was calling me like every 2 or 3 minutes. I had location tracking set on my phone so he could keep up with me through Google Location.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he was still calling me because he was more nervous, even though it was a shorter distance. And everything was interstate, and we knew I'd have cell phone service the whole time. Yeah. He was more nervous with me going a short distance without the dog than he was with me going for a long distance, with the dog. So.
Well, and not only that, sometimes people can do what the dog was doing, but they don't pick up on it as quickly. Like when I went to I still go, but I have a different pain management team now. But when my doctor, she always did my appointments were a minimum an hour. Well, they would check my vitals, my blood pressure, heart rate, and all that.
Right.
And sometime in that hour, Candy got up and was alerting me, and I wasn't, because there's a couple things when she starts licking me and patting me. It could be my heart rate, it could be my blood pressure, it could be
a couple of different things.
Yeah. Sure. So the thing does it. I think Candy's alerting me, and I said, "Oh yeah," because I was kind of like, at that point, I felt kind of out of it, like in a daze. She goes, "Let me check your vitals again." Well, Gayle, I can't remember exactly what my heart rate, but I'm not, well, I do kind of, I know it was at least 200, maybe 250. And at that point, you can have.
That's really high.
Well, you can have a massive heart attack or a stroke. So my heart rate was, like I said, 250 beats. And an athlete, when they're racing, it can get that high, but then it drops down. My blood pressure was, for me, okay, my normal is between 50 and 40, and then with 70 to 90. So it would be like 70 over 40 or 90 over 50. That's my normal blood pressure. I've always had low blood pressure like that. But my blood pressure went up to 180 over, I think, 95. So that was high for me. And then they said my oxygen went down
anybody.
And my oxygen went down to 89 or 87. So they took care of me then. But Candy,
that's scary stuff.
Because the doctor didn't even. It was so subtle that the doctor didn't pick up on that Candy did.
Andy did.
So yeah, that's right. So even that if you have a human, what do you want to call it? What do you call it? A service human, they can't pick up what the dog does. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So you really, yeah. That's what I was saying. And you're like me. You have multiple disabilities. So you don't just have one thing that dog needs to task for.
Right. I have a list of challenges. That's for
Well,
sure.
that's what I said. People don't believe me, but I said, ask my doctor. I've got literally 24 different disabilities slash
Wow.
disorders, okay? And
I'm
Candy
not
does,
even counting mine. Like, I'm not even counting.
yeah, and Candy, the only reason I know is because Candy does tasks for 12 of them. So yeah, but that's what I would like to do. So
Well, thank you.
when are you supposed to be back with your dog?
I got to get a calendar up for this.
Well,
Hold
just
on.
no. I mean, there's not an exact date, but just
It's
roughly.
late in June.
Okay.
We hope. Let's see, graduation
Well, I was thinking.
somewhere around the 22nd of
Okay.
June.
Well, I'm thinking sometime in August, mid
Okay,
August to end August, and we can do that and do some selling. I
we
would
can
like to
definitely.
do. I would like to do what do you call it? A silent auction with some of the things. So like look, like for instance, it was okay. Between 7:15 and 7:30, people can put their bids on. They'll bid online, and then whatever the highest bid comes at cutoff time, then that person will get the item. And so you
Okay.
like say somebody says, oh, 50, and then somebody else says 52, and so whatever that last bid was, when that time period comes, they're the ones that get it. So I thought that would be fun. And
We
you
can
can
do
ring a
that.
little bell and say, oh, well, God, or whatever. Yeah.
We can definitely do that. We'll work out some details closer to August.
Right,
But
right.
I appreciate that a lot because
So
that's going to
basically,
help.
I'm just helping you recoup. And at that point, you will know what you have spent on that trip and whatever else you have when you come back. Because, again, make sure that dog gets a complete physical, that there's no underlying problems. Because even the best, uh, the
So
train for
even
this
yeah, the
organization that
best
train for sort of
is
stuff,
so
they can have an underlying problem. And that's one of the reasons I do want an older Chihuahua. I want one that's at least a year old, because by the time they're a year old, they develop faster than your average. So they're basically an adult when they're a year old. Well, really, they're adult by
okay.
6 months. But the consensus of vets, and not United States, but around the world, says that if a Chihuahua has not had a seizure by the time they turn 1 year old, they are 99% probably never will have a seizure, because that would be devastating for me, because then that dog can't be a service animal because they wouldn't be reliable. I mean,
Right.
they would do their best, but what if I'm meeting her and the dog has a seizure,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's something you have to sometimes those things
yeah,
don't show up until later.
yeah.
Tomlin had one actually out of the blue one time and
Wow,
scared us, but we're still not sure but what he could have gotten into a toxin, because
right,
things that are toxic to humans are not toxic
right,
to dogs and vice versa. He had been out in the yard taking care of his daily needs, shall we
yeah,
say.
yeah.
And yeah, somebody told me their theory was he could have eaten a frog. I don't
That
know.
is
It
true.
was
They
after a rain. We did have frogs out there, little bitty ones, but
And some
Who
dogs
knows?
can eat them and not have a problem, and other ones, yeah, they can eat a frog leg. But yeah, well, even with the vet saying that Candy, she said basically she's healthy. She had no fever,
That's great.
no. She had, I mean, they did a really good job. I say they did a full cavity search because they looked in her nose, no mucus, no nothing in her mouth, and Candy was letting them look there. So if she was really feeling bad, she would be, kind of pulled back. She let cooperate. No phlegm in her bowels, nothing in her eyes, her nose, mouth, ears, no fever. Um, she was alert and
Good.
orientated for the most part. Now she was
Good.
nervous. She was shaking when the tech took her back there, but that was because she didn't know him. Because once that they were playing with her and petting her before they did all these mean things to her, so she was very cooperative and friendly and wagging her tail, and they played with her.
Aw,
And so I mean, if she was really bad off, she wouldn't have been able to do all that. And so
that's true.
they
Let me
said
see
this
here
for
just a
some reason
second.
or another. Well, sometimes something can just that they normally eat all the time could lay in their stomach too long, and so it gives them a little bit of fermentation, that can make them sick, or it temporarily was just blocked for a minute or two. Sometimes, you know how sometimes if you swallow something too big or too fast, you feel like, oh my gosh, is this going to go away? And so it could have been something to that effect.
Yeah,
But
you never
because
know.
she only threw up once, she did have um, 4 times where she had diarrhea, but they were hours apart, like 6 to 8 hours apart. So in a 24-hour period, that's not a whole lot. I
Not
mean, you
bad.
don't want to see him do that much. And then she wasn't hardly dehydrated. They gave her the fluids as a precautionary thing. Um, but had you ever heard of a fluid bubble injection?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and it's where they actually inject fluids. Um, and there's a cavity in the back of all dogs, no matter what the breed is. People don't have that, but they inject it between the shoulders, a little bit lower than the shoulders. And so that sits there for a 24-hour period. It gradually absorbs into their body. And that's it. Now, when you touch her or pet her, that spot may feel cold, and a little bit of leakage is expected. So, yeah, a few drops every now and then. But somebody laughed. I said, when was petting her a couple times, it was like petting a wet blanket.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's a pretty good treatment. They're
Yes,
not
it is.
having to wait for a whole IV bag to go into their
Oh, I
system.
know it. But I'm just saying, it felt like I was petting a wet blanket.
Styling Curves is saying it looks like a hunchback and hydrates them.
Yes, yes.
And
She
welcome,
did.
Styling Curves. Peter Parker is back in the house. So, hi,
Yes.
Peter. Welcome
So
back.
yeah, so she was. Oh yeah, but yeah, so that's what happened. But yeah, they can't. And then the other thing she said is most Chihuahuas can live 18 to 22 years. So she's 9, so she's only middle aged, but still, even middle aged humans have upset stomachs sometimes. So they think a combination of her age and either something laid in her stomach too long or
Sure.
who knows. But yeah,
Well, you
and
never know with dogs. Like they could get into anything, you
yeah,
know.
well, but see, Candy is that's one of the things I really um, wanted to make sure that she was bomb proof on because I sometimes drop pills, and that's what she alerts me to sometimes. Because sometimes I don't have the bright lights on in the morning, and I will drop one of my tiny pills, and it can roll somewhere, and I didn't know. She will come and keep barking at me, and then I go in there, and she's like a pointer dog. She will look at that spot. She doesn't get real close, maybe within a foot of it, but she will just stare and then look at me and bark and stare and bark until I get it. So I had to put a flashlight on, and I said, Candy, are you sure? And sure enough, I dropped it, or I was taking my mess and it rolled, because we got those vinyl floors that look like hardwood. Rolled across the room, and so
Like,
she knows not to
cargo.
eat that. Yeah, and she won't eat nothing off the floor. Now she will do it if I say clean up in aisle 9. She will do that. Then I'm telling her to clean up that mess. I did tell you that story that when I was still trying to cook for myself, and I spilled spaghetti sauce, and it went all over my stove, all over me, and my clothes, the floor. And I called Candy, and there was a puddle at least, that big. And she comes in, and I said, clean up in aisle 9. And she looked all around at all that spaghetti and the sauce. And then she looked at me, and she walked away. The look was like, you gotta be kidding me.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah. Tom would have had fun with that, yeah.
One night when he was being dog sat, he helped himself to their spaghetti one night. I was like, should have put it up. And my younger daughter was sitting him. And what had happened was, I know what got him started with this, because we went to Walt Disney World and it was super, super, super hot. And you know, that asphalt, I don't care if your dog's wearing shoes or not, it can tear up their paws. Yes. So we decided to board him. Well, he wouldn't eat. So they talk to my husband. They don't get me. They talk to my husband. They said, I think if we sprinkle his food with some Parmesan cheese, most dogs like this. Can we do this? So my husband, sure, if it'll get him to eat. So I'm like, I hear about this later. And I'm like, if you wait long enough, he'll eat, because he'll eat when he gets hungry. That's how dogs operate.
Well, not Candy one.
He gobbled it down, fell in love with the Parmesan cheese, absolutely adored it. So then when he goes to Samantha's house and she's sitting him overnight, boom, she has Parmesan cheese all over her spaghetti. With her, it has been classic. She would just as soon have a little bit of spaghetti with her Parmesan cheese.
That's Walter, yeah.
She sits down on the coffee table. He normally was not a dog that would do people food, but she set that down on the coffee table. She walked away. She came back, no spaghetti. That's the way it was explained to me.
Yeah. But but what you were saying about the dogs eventually Candy won't, that's why we ended up having to put on human food, because there were so many of those different dogs foods and prescriptions. And the vet said, oh, she'll eventually eat. Well, 4 days later, that dog hadn't eaten. And they were concerned because she lost a pound. She was drinking water, but she was not eating. There was nothing wrong with her. She didn't want that blankety food. She said, we'll know whether she's sick or not, because if she's sick, she's not even going to want people food. She sent somebody down to get a Rally's burger, no onions, but with the cheese on it. That dog ate that entire Rally's burger.
Oh, wow.
Not the bun, but just the burger. She said, yeah, that's the first dog that she ever had. And she'd been a vet for a long time, that was literally starving herself to death because she didn't want that dog. That's why I said Candy doesn't think she's a dog, because she has to have human food.
That's so funny.
But I belong to a group, and some of them are vets, and they make their own dog food. So we have lots of we have good round meals for them. But what was a good testimony was back in the fall when she got all that blood work. That Chem 25. That's a very detailed.
The whole big panel, yeah.
Yes. Besides the CBC, she said her blood work looked that of a 3-year-old dog. And that's a good testament that everything is balanced in her diet, that, there's nothing off on any of the, the kidney function and all that. Even test for neurological brain function, because if you don't have certain, food and enzymes, your brain can be affected by that. But yeah, so she was so she commended me that I am very studious on making sure she gets the right amount of nutrients that she needs. So yeah, but I'm just so glad you are getting a service dog. So that is what I'm going to do. And so we're kind of like like I said, when you come back, play it by ear when you feel up to doing it, and maybe like week or two ahead of time, kind of leading up to it, telling people what's coming up and kind of making a big thing on that. And then, like I
Okay.
said, I got to figure out how will I be able to um, share your link on my Facebook page. That's what I couldn't figure out how to do that.
Well, we wound up getting it shared. It wouldn't let me post it directly to your Facebook page for some
Okay.
reason. Facebook was just being a pain. So where you mentioned the live stream, what I did was I just clicked on that and added the link on your mention of the live stream. So where you put that thing on your page about being on
Okay.
tonight,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in that.
So I guess we'll have to do that a couple times leading up to like, hey, be watching up for, this big, fundraiser for you. I don't know what you want to,
Thank you.
whatever you want to call it, but now I
Well,
know
I
I've never had
appreciate it.
trouble with.
Again, you don't have to do this, but
Oh, I
I
know
do
that, but
appreciate it.
yeah. Now I know Facebook doesn't have any problems because I've done that with my church, help them raise money that way. So I was able to sell things on Facebook, even on their Messenger and live stream. But I don't know what is YouTube's rule as far as fundraising and that kind of stuff.
Um, as far as I know, you can like sell and advertise things on your channel. If you want to, if you do like for a nonprofit, like if you're trying to raise money like for the Ukraine or something,
Uh-huh.
and you're hooking up with some nonprofit agencies, then they've got a different setup, I think, for that, where you can raise
Okay.
money on the channel and then like all of that goes directly to them.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that
I've
makes
never
sense.
been in that position, so I don't know for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I mean, do you know of anybody that's sold anything on YouTube or not?
I think Valerie did some for the Black Friday charity fundraiser that we do
Okay.
every year.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, this
she actually, it may not have been her, but it was somebody associated with the fundraiser, so she would
okay.
know.
Okay, and so we can figure out how to do that for you. If I'm like the one that's hosting it, I guess it would be okay even though it's on your channel. So I guess that would be okay.
I think it'll
So
be okay.
we'll figure that out. And again, probably Valerie can help us with that. But we went way over on the time. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I just really want to see you with a service dog again.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. And June is coming. I keep reminding myself June is coming. The
Mm-hmm.
the dog days of summer will mean something a little different to me now. So
and,
I'm super excited.
and
I'll just
you said you don't care if it's a boy or a girl, huh?
I don't care.
Yeah, I said I
I'll
only
let the
want girls.
agency decide that.
Yeah,
I can specify, but I really don't have a preference. But they do tell
yeah,
you if you specify that can extend your wait time
right.
because they
Yeah, I
look for
get
the
that.
dog that's going to help you the most. So,
Right, right.
we've had girl dogs, we've had boy dogs. I don't care. What I care
Yeah,
about is can they brace? Can they go fetch? Can they do the
yeah,
seizure assistance? Things like that. So it'll be
right,
fine.
right. Oh, yeah, and that I don't have. I guess I never did like pork.
Yeah. I
I
want to go
didn't
to
want.
something. P&L Rail Fanner is back in here.
Who
And
is
I
that?
just want to, he was in here earlier.
Oh, okay.
He is the one that has got the Golden Spike replica for the Golden Spikes where they join the railroads. And
Oh,
I
okay.
just want to tell him He just typed in something about getting a Mark's train set, and he
Yeah.
says it even smokes. And P&L, I just want to tell you that when I relay this to my husband, he is going to die of jealousy. Just saying. He will. He will. And also we've been joined by Styling Curves. So
Oh, okay.
she's a real sweetheart. You'll like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was asking
Yeah.
me what I used to stream with, and of course I use StreamYard, and I've used it for a couple of years. I really like it. I
Yeah.
started out with a free version, then went to the paid version because we can talk longer. Laurel, now I sent you a link to come in and join me on the StreamYard side. How easy or difficult do you feel like that was? Because I
Oh,
know you've been on before.
I did have trouble. That's why I couldn't get on time for some minute, and I kept not doing it. And finally, it let me do it. So I don't
It
know
didn't
what
let
the
you do it.
yeah, not at
Okay.
first.
Not
But
at first.
I went off and went back on 3 times, and then finally said that I was
Okay. You
backstage.
kind of had to reload the page. Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, it took me about 10 minutes. So I don't know what that was. I never had that problem. I had the problem once before, but it was like 1 minute, not no 10 minutes. So I don't know what the big gap there, because I was
I don't
trying to
know.
get right on at 7 o'clock, and I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a glitch or something. I don't know.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
I do want to say, Styling Curves, if you look at it, they have a feature where you can do it as test. So you can kind of try it out without ever going live. But you can also do it with multiple channels at the same time. So, anyway, take a look at it if you want to. If you don't, I understand. But yeah, it's StreamYard. I love it.
And do you have to have a minimum subscribers for that?
No.
Oh,
No.
really?
Oh, really? No, you don't.
Even if you just
Not
got a
with
handful
StreamYard.
of them?
Even if you just got a handful of them, it's
So
my
how
understanding.
do,
Now, watch me be wrong, but that's my understanding.
okay, why it won't let me to try. So how much does it cost? Can you tell me that, or do you want to?
Um, I
If you don't
forget.
want to tell
I
me now, you
think
can.
I think it's like $20 a month.
Oh, that's now. How
Hold
many
up,
times can you?
let
Is
me go
there a
ahead and
minimum?
look.
Is there a minimum how many times you can go on?
You mean
I
a
mean,
maximum?
not maximum. You know what I mean?
I don't think they want you to do it more than 12 hours a day. So
Okay.
don't consistently have 12-hour live streams.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, how many times in a
Um,
month
I've
can you
got
have?
I'm paying 22 a month. I've got a lifetime discount somehow. I don't know why. Otherwise, the monthly plan is 25, and I can have up to 4 people. It looks like on at a time, but I can add more if I want to. Um,
I remember because the one time we had almost 8 people. Do you remember that?
we did once, yeah. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
there was 4 ladies and I think there was 4 guys. Because I know Mel was on there. Um, what's the guy that does the seasonings? What
Oh,
the
I don't
one that
remember.
he makes those seasonings.
I don't know.
You always talk about you like his spices.
Oh, um, you're talking about? Are you talking about the shake spice?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. He was on
Uncle
there.
Steve's shake. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like I said, there was about 4 guys and 4 of us ladies. Well, that included you. So there was 8. You had 7 guests on there, and then you
It
on
was
Sunday.
a full show that night. I remember that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm gonna have to investigate that. I mean, if they'll allow me to do that, I think it would be worth
I'm
it
gonna
because
I'm gonna double check.
yeah,
But YouTube has changed some of their streaming requirements.
yeah. Well, I know I can do the Patreon, and I don't have to have I just have to have a YouTube channel. It doesn't even have to be an active YouTube. It just has to have been on there at least a year. So Yeah, that was the only requirements they said on the
Okay.
Patreon. And with the Patreon, uh, if I
Yeah,
don't make any
Patreon's a little
money,
different because it's like it's their own
yeah.
thing, so it doesn't
Well, I
hit.
mean, but I don't pay if nobody contributes any money, I don't pay for nothing. But
Right.
but if you have no members after a year, they will consider it dormant and
Will they?
close it. But yeah, but
Now,
otherwise, but you
Styling
can.
Curves is saying you have to have 1K to live stream. I couldn't remember,
Oh, okay. Oh,
but
what was
I
that
know
now?
the
Was that
StreamYard itself, it doesn't have any kind of minimums, and
okay?
you can stream to Facebook with it and so forth. So
Okay, but now you said that was what was that for? Was that for Patreon? Did you say
no,
or not?
Patreon's different.
Okay. Well, what was you saying that you had to have
Okay,
the
Styling Curves is saying it looks like you can bypass it by a hack.
oh
Okay, so that's going to
I'm
be
not gonna
interesting to
do
find out about.
I'm not gonna do no hack.
Okay, we'll keep it
But
easy for you.
yeah, well
No
I do want
complicated
to.
stuff.
Hey, yeah, I want to tell you one thing.
What?
Be careful with Amazon right now. A few of us got hacked by some 4 different
Oh,
places, Mexico and a couple other places. They called me, and we got it straightened out. But there were people trying to buy things on Amazon, and at first they were going to try telling me that I had to pay for this service for them to research who was going on there. But then the guy that I had talked to previously, and I got the call interrupted. I mean, disconnected. He even said, "Oh, several, um, you know, people on Amazon, members were getting that kind of thing happening." So then they
okay.
said, "Oh yeah, yeah." They said, "Oh yeah, it is happening." I said, "It's not." They said, "Are you sure it's not your bank account or Walmart or whatever?" I said, "Look it. If it was my bank account, they would have directly got it from bank account. You're the one that told me that they were trying to charge items on Amazon, and
Right.
then yeah, and so they stopped it, and it's permanently stopped. And so
Okay.
um, what happened was here's the thing is I got to tell you this as I called several times and talked to different agents, and here's the thing is if you have an Amazon account and you get a new one and you're not using that one anymore, you can't delete that. It's
Oh,
permanently
you can't delete your
there.
primary. Okay.
No, you can't delete your old Amazon and get a new one. You can get a new one, but the old one's going to stay there forever. It'll be dormant, and they think that's why that happened because of this dormant account that I thought. Because the guy misinformed me last year, maybe it was a year and a half ago, that they closed it, but they can't. I can't even close it. And I said, what kind of setup you have that I said, what if I no longer wanted Amazon? And they said, well, yeah, eventually it would go dormant, and then if I didn't use it for 5 or 6 years, then they probably would delete, but they can't since I have an active one. And what happened was they set my account up wrong. Okay, when I got my food stamp card, you have to have it under your phone number, not under your email. That
Okay.
well, because the government requires you to have your account under phone number, not
Gotcha.
under your email. And so
It's a government
when they
thing.
switched it to my phone number, they didn't tell me that they established a new account. I thought it was the same one but they didn't. Because at first they were charging me for both, and so they got rid of that problem about a year ago. But yeah, just be careful that a good thing
Well,
that, like I said, well, a good thing I can't say that Amazon was. I mean, the day that it was happening, they did contact me right away,
that's
and I
good.
said, and then my bank, they have excellent fraud department. They are on things right away. I mean, sometimes when they contact me, they'll say it's trying to be happening up. Well, I mean, they don't even prove. They'll send me an email. Did you try to buy something from CarX or something? I'll say, well, I don't even own a car, and so they will block it. It doesn't cost nothing to me, but any suspicious activity, they
And
are
they
on it.
get
Like,
you.
yeah, so but
That's
yeah, just
wonderful.
just like I said, keep an eye on your Amazon. Like I said, they're
We
putting, I
do.
guess, whatever you want to call it, they're putting new um active, they're trying to do more spyware stuff to keep it from happening. But I know, I remember when, before I even got on Amazon, because you're the one that got me started about whatever, when it was really coming to be popular, they were having that kind of stuff going on, but not just in the U.S., in different countries. So I'm trying to figure out why Amazon gets hacked more than Walmart, because Walmart, you can be in other countries and buy stuff. Because I have friends that live in um, not Indonesia, but over there. She lives in Taiwan,
Someone.
and she buys from Walmart all the time. But I have friends in other countries, and you know, with Walmart, and they've never had their account hacked, but they have had their Amazon account, people trying to do stuff. So, like I said, I'm just trying to tell you that just kind of
Well,
keep
I
an eye on.
appreciate the warning because you never know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's terrible that people, and I understand the cost of living throughout the world is getting so bad, but people shouldn't resort to being basically thieves. Yeah, so I don't
But
know.
people are going to try anything. You never know.
Well, well, and then I guess if they feel desperate enough, if they feel like that's the only way they can help their family, maybe you don't know, maybe needing that particular whatever they were
Right.
charging for. Yeah, so I will let you go. We stayed over an
Okay.
hour.
We did 2 hours. Two.
Yeah, we did that
Unbelievable.
once
We did an
before.
extra hour there. But Laurel,
Yeah.
thank you for being on. And I
Okay, and
want
like
to
I
thank
said,
Styling Curse and P&L
yes,
Rail.
everybody that hung in here with us.
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you all so much. It's been great to see you all that are in the chats. And
yes, and
Laurel,
tell them
it's
to
been
come
great to
on
see you
more often.
too.
Yeah, come on more
Yeah.
often. Yeah, we'd like to
Yeah.
have you on more often. Yeah.
Absolutely. So anyway, thank you all.
Good
Laurel, is
night.
there anything else you want to say before we go?
No, just everybody, thank you so much. And if you know somebody that's disabled, especially women, that you would help support them in whatever entrepreneurship that they're trying to do. So, yeah, that's all.
Okay. Well, I want to remind everybody to always be bodacious. Don't
Yes.
let life get in the way of living. We're going to put that
And
down
check
there.
out Candy's Teespring account.
Yeah. Got that link down below.
Yes. Okay.
So, okay. Thank you all. Have a good night. And I'll
All
see you
right.
Saturday at 7 p.m.
All right.
Eastern Time here. Bye bye.
Bye.